This is All India Radio. Whispers of the Wind. All India Radio, in collaboration with Vigyan-Prasar, presents science serial Whispers of the Wind, based on understanding and managing climate change and global warming. Let's listen to episode number 8, titled How Life Affects the Climate: Internal Factors.
Oh, this lightning again! Grandma, when will all this stop? I'm getting frightened with this lightning.
Oh, Dekhu beta, don't you worry at all. Nothing adverse will happen.
But Grandma, what if this lightning strikes our home?
No, beta. The lightning will not strike our home. And Dekhu, all this will stop very soon, once the clouds get cleared. Look, the rain has also started.
Yeah.
When the water in those clouds will finish, the clouds will vanish and lightning will automatically stop.
Grandma, are you sure?
Yes, beta. Once the clouds disappear, the lightning will stop.
I'm finally relieved now.
Oh.
Once water in clouds finishes, there won't be clouds again. And no more lightning.
Yes.
So this is the last time. God, please empty these clouds fast. Come on. I don't want to hear the lightning again in lifetime.
What? In lifetime?
Yes, Grandma. You only said that once the clouds drain out, they will disappear.
Dekhu beta, the clouds will disappear only for today. Tomorrow they may come again.
What?
Yes, this is a natural process which happens again and again.
Oh, this lightning again. Grandma, this lightning. Oh my God, please help me.
Don't get frightened, Dekhu. Okay, let me tell you a story so that your mind gets diverted. Now listen. Once upon a time, there was a foolish king.
Foolish king?
Yes, a foolish king. He believed that he was the cleverest of all the people in his kingdom.
Oh.
And he was convinced that nobody could trick him. Every day he displayed his wisdom in his palace, and predictably, his ministers applauded every word that he spoke.
Oh.
And do you know what happened one day? And one fine day, in his court, the king gave a foolish order to his ministers.
Minister,
Yes, Your Majesty.
I have an idea in my mind to teach a lesson to our neighboring king.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Minister, within a month, we will shut down the water supply to our neighboring kingdom by building a wall in the river, and we will cut their water supply.
But, Your Majesty.
Minister, just follow my orders. That's it.
But, Your Majesty, the neighboring king is very powerful. If they start war against us, then we cannot sustain in front of their strong army.
That's why, Minister, that's why. We will not do a war against them, but we will cut their water supply and ruin their kingdom. So start working on this immediately.
As you wish, Your Majesty.
So what happened next, Grandma?
Dekhu, the minister was wise unlike the king. He kept quiet for a week and did a splendid trick. Instead of cutting water supply to the neighboring kingdom.
Which trick, Grandma?
You see, that was the winter season. So nights were longer than days.
Yes, I understand.
So, on one night, the minister called Shripal.
Who was this Shripal?
Shripal was the advisor and was in good faith of the minister.
Okay.
Yes. So minister secretly called Shripal and told him to do one important thing during that night.
Oh, and what was that?
The minister told him to strike the huge time bell 6 times at 2 o'clock in the night.
Time bell?
Yes, beta. In those days, there were no clocks. The time was measured centrally, and people were made aware by striking the bell.
Oh.
Yes. So the plan was to give 6 strokes at 2 o'clock, 7 strokes at 3 o'clock,
And 8 strokes at 4 o'clock and so on, right?
correct.
What happened then, Grandma?
Then everything went correct as per the plan. At 2 o'clock in the night, the huge time bell rang 6 times. So the king woke up. And when the bell rang for 7 times, the king was surprised to know that there is complete dark outside.
Oh.
Minister? Minister, what has happened today? Why is there so much of darkness outside, even after 8 o'clock in the morning? Minister? Minister!
Yes, Your Majesty.
Why is there so much of darkness outside, even after 8 o'clock in the morning?
Sorry to say, Your Majesty, but
What's the reason, Minister? I don't want any excuses from you. I just want to know what's the reason for this darkness. Why is there no sunrise today?
Your Majesty, this is because of us only.
Us?
Yes, Your Majesty.
What do you mean?
Majesty, we have cut down water supply of the neighboring kingdom, so they have covered the sunlight.
What?
Yes, Your Majesty. You can ask Shripal even.
Shripal? Shripal!
Yes, Your Majesty.
Shripal, is this the truth? What the minister is saying?
Yes, Your Majesty.
But how did they manage to block the sunlight?
Sorry, Your Majesty, but I really don't know that. But yes, I certainly know one thing.
And what's that?
By blocking the water of the river, we are not only starving our neighboring kingdom, but also we are affecting nature, its biodiversity, and even the climate condition, Your Majesty.
What?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Shripal, you cannot make statements like these in front of your king. You need to justify your statements.
Yes, Your Majesty. I will explain to you, Your Majesty, if you grant me the permission.
Yes, Shripal, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Majesty. Well, I will ask some questions to all the members in the court, just to clarify myself regarding how much information all have. So accordingly, I will proceed with the explanations. Is that okay, Your Majesty?
Yes, Shripal, yes, that's okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Majesty. We all know that resources on the earth are limited. For example, water, it is limited. But every one of us consumes water. Then the question is, how this water is not finished?
Shripal, every year we get water through the rains.
Correct, Your Majesty. But how rains are formed? From where this water comes?
It's due to evaporation of seawater.
You are correct, Minister. The rain is a part of a water cycle. Water in the sea evaporates due to the heat from the sun, and these vapors eventually condense at low temperature to form clouds. When clouds get saturated with water vapors, they cannot hold water and the rain comes.
And thereby we get water, Shripal. What are you trying to say?
Yes, Your Majesty. But water is not created here. It is just being circulated through various processes. More importantly, these processes are occurring naturally. Thus, it's a water cycle.
Yes, it's correct.
Similarly, there is carbon cycle also.
Carbon cycle? But what is that?
Your Majesty, carbon is a very important chemical element. And I can say that it is important for the life on the earth. This carbon is also getting processed through various activities in nature. And we have carbon cycle in nature. Similarly, we have nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, mineral cycle, and so on.
This is okay. But what is the relevance of all these cycles here? I want sunshine now. That's all. And it's 9 o'clock now. See, where's the sunshine?
Yes, Your Majesty. I will explain. In nature, nothing is isolated. Everything has a connection with one or more things. If one factor in all these cycles becomes weak, entire balance may be lost. So if we block the river flow, or if we change the course of river, we are altering the natural things. Eventually, all these connections are concerned with our environment and also climate. If favorable climatic conditions are not available, then it may affect all components of environment.
That's true. I agree with you, Shripal.
Yes, Minister. If we think of a climate, human interference in nature is drastically affecting the climate.
Yes.
But Your Majesty, life on the earth is also affecting the climate through carbon and water cycles.
But how's that, Shripal?
Your Majesty, life affects climate through mechanisms such as albedo, evapotranspiration, cloud formation, and weathering.
Shripal, don't be so technical. Try to elaborate what you are trying to say in simple words.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Majesty. I will. We all know that the basic strategies employed by people who live in the hot places. For example, buildings at such places are finished with white exteriors to keep them cool because white surface reflects the sun's energy. On the other hand, black surface reflects much less. People wear light colors in summers rather than dark ones for the same reason.
Now I've understood.
Your Majesty, our Earth's surface is a vast patchwork of colors, ranging from the dazzling white of ice and snow to the dark surfaces of oceans and forests.
Yes, absolutely.
Each surface on the Earth has a specific effect on the Earth's temperature. Snow and ice reflect a lot of the sun energy back into space. The darker oceans absorbs energy, which warms the water. Oceans help keep the Earth warm because they absorb most of the heat. This warming increases water vapor, which acts as a greenhouse gas and helps to keep temperatures within ranges.
But Shripal, how is it measured? And how do we know that certain surface is absorbing more heat and keeping our earth cool?
Good question, Minister. The fraction of solar radiation reflected by a surface or object, often expressed as a percentage. Oceans absorb approximately 90% of the heat incident on them. In fact, albedo is a measure of the reflectivity of a surface.
What, Shripal? Albedo?
Yes, Your Majesty. The term albedo is derived from the Latin for whiteness. The albedo effect is measure of how much of the sun's energy is reflected back into space. Snow-covered surfaces have a high albedo because these are shiny white surfaces and thereby can reflect most of the incident heat. On the other hand, the surface albedo of soils ranges from high to low, and vegetation-covered surfaces and oceans have a low albedo.
Because these surfaces absorb most of the heat.
Absolutely right, Your Majesty. So higher albedo has a cooling effect and lower albedo a warming effect. The Earth's planetary albedo varies mainly through varying cloudiness, snow, ice, leaf area, and land cover changes. The most significant projected impact on albedo is through future global warming.
Oh, and how's that?
A minister, due to global warming, ice on the polar regions of the earth is disappearing quite fast. As the white surfaces decreases in area, less energy is reflected into space and the earth will warm up even more.
Okay.
See, minister, sea level is rising, correct? By exposing the ocean surface to sunlight, the water warms up. This melts the ice from underneath. Humidity also increases. Water vapor is a powerful greenhouse gas. So it contributes global warming and thereby climate change. There are other factors also due to which the life affects the climate.
And which are those?
There is a factor called evapotranspiration.
What, Shripal? What is that? Evapotranspiration?
Yes, Your Majesty. Evapotranspiration is the process of transferring moisture from the earth into the atmosphere. In fact, it is the combination of both evaporation and transpiration.
Look, Shripal, we know evaporation, but